Could you give us in practical terms what the process would be after the
Well, as I see it, my colleague can add to it if he so wishes. We have the first election. They elect their leaders. We call those leaders together and we advise them as we promised to do. But in the meantime, the discussions and deliberations between the special representative of the Secretary General and the Administrator General also takes place. I hope so. I fervently hope so. And then I hope that that would lead to an agreement on when the next stage could be reached and what steps should be made and taken to achieve it.
Mr. McWhirter again. Prime Minister, I have your clarification.
The United Nations adopted on different occasions motions stating that SWAPO is the sole representative of the Namibian people. In Southwest Africa, different political parties deny that and they say they are the representatives of the people. In Southwest Africa, there are also already elected forms of government stating that they are representing the people. The South African government on its part says that we believe that there are recognized leaders other than SWAPO representing the majority of the people. So what is now better than to call out a general election and to allow the political parties to put their cases to 90% already registered voters and allow the voters to decide who their leaders are? What more democratic can you expect? What more fair approach can you expect than to allow Southwest Africa to decide for itself?
Mr. Prime Minister? Jack Smith of ABC. After the December election, who or which body would have sovereignty in Southwest Africa, and what would be the status of the Administrator General thereafter?
No party will have sovereignty until Southwest Africa is a sovereign independent state. But you can have a majority party in the country.
And when would Southwest Africa become a sovereign state?
When the people decide, after all these steps that have been agreed upon has taken place.
After the December election or after the UN election?
I hope that we will have discussions on these matters as we promised on page 3 of our joint statement.
This has still to be decided then, sir.
I can't decide for Southwest Africa when they must be independent. I want the people to decide.
Mr. Prime Minister, do you intend to go to the United States to meet President Carter? And if you are invited, do you believe that the President's statement could affect that invitation?
I'm not prepared to say what President Carter wrote to me in a letter. I gave only one guarantee to the West, and that is the guarantee published in my first statement, which you have in your possession. On the basis of mutual respect with the rest of the free world.
Gentlemen, a final question. Thank you.
Prime Minister,
The last one.
what were the most difficult stages of the negotiations?
Might as well roll.
The most difficult one was to convince myself that so that we can traverse the whole field of cooperation with the free world.
Prime Minister, could I just ask you finally, would you say in conclusion that you and the West are virtually as far apart at the end of the discussions as you were at the beginning, but that you've agreed to keep on talking? Would that be a fair summary?
No, that wouldn't be fair.
Could you then put it in your own words very briefly?
Well, I said so in my own words that I think The talks were fruitful. It could lead to further talks. It does not exclude further talks. And I think that we've managed to convince those who heard us that we are determined to play our role in the free world.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you for your attendance.
Here.